Hello, today we are going to install Windows 11 without TPM. So TPM is a trusted platform module and Windows 11 requires TPM version 2.0, which must be available in hardware. For QEMU virtual machines, there's an additional software package that's called SWTPM. So how can we install Windows 11 if we don't have any kind of TPM trusted platform module? We can use more technologies, but one of these is to just boot the original ISO install media for Windows 11, then open cmd.exe, which is the command prompt, then from there open regedit, which is the registry editor, and then create this registry key and two registry values of type virt. Okay, so what is a trusted platform module? Is a ISO standard version 1.2 from 2011 and then version 2.0 from 2014. This is what's required by Windows 11, so TPM version 2.0. And most newer CPUs, such as those from AMD and Intel, contain a hardware implementation of the TPM, because all new CPUs must support installing Windows 11, so CPUs for x86 64-bit AMD 64. Okay, so now that we know what TPM is, let's see how to find the article which tells us how to install Windows 11 without TPM. I'm going to search on Google, and I went to the bottom of the page with Google results to this Windows report, how to install Windows 11 without TPM. And in there's a chapter called Modify Your Registry from the Installation Media. So we're going to boot Windows 11 ISO, so the DVD image. It's going to tell us that my PC does not support Windows 11 because I'm going to install Windows 11 on a virtual machine QEMU. I'm not going to have TPM there, and I'm not going to use also Secure Boot. So both of these will be disabled in the virtualization software, but Windows 11 allows me to bypass these two requirements by editing the registry while I'm running the installation media. Okay, so Shift+F10 opens command prompt. From there we start regedit.exe, so registry editor. Under HK local machine system setup, we need to create a new key, which is called LabConfig. And then we create new integer values, so virt-32-bit, one named BypassTPMCheck, the other one named the BypassSecureBootCheck, and there's even an extra one which allows you to install Windows 11 if you do not have 4 GB of RAM, but we are going to have this, so we will leave this out, not configured. So by not creating the registry value BypassRAMCheck, Windows 11 installer media will still check to make sure that our hardware machine or our virtualization software virtual machine has enough random access memory. Okay. Next up is how do we get at the Windows 11 ISO file. For that we search Google, Windows 11 ISO. We get to this page and it says version 22H2, so the newest version from last year. create Windows 10 installation media, download Windows 11 disk image ISO for x64 devices. So Windows 11 does not support running in 32-bit mode, so it requires 64-bit. It's the multi-edition ISO. This means it contains Windows 10 Home, Windows 10 Pro. So we're trying to install Windows 10 Pro because Windows 11 Pro because Windows 11 Home has some limitations. Okay, what's in here? Download now. Says select the product language. I'm going for English United States. Confirm. Okay. Where is this thing? 64-bit download. Let's download in the directory where we put installation media. So download speed 34 megabytes per second. So that's more than 12 megabytes per second, which would be 100 megabits per second. Okay, 2 minutes left. So we know how to install the Windows 11 ISO. We know how to bypass the Windows 11 installer media checks by editing the registry while the Windows 11 installer is running in live mode. So booted from the DVD. We know what TPM is. There's other methods of bypassing the TPM check. An easy one is to use the software that's called Rufus. So this thing, you download Rufus and you will need a USB drive. You will need to be on Windows to run this software because this is Windows software. Okay, you download the ISO page, the ISO file, or if I remember correctly, Rufus has an option to download the Windows 11 ISO for you. And then you can select as image option, not a default, which is TPM 2.0 secure boot and 8 GB of RAM, but the other option, which is extended Windows 11 installation, no TPM, no secure boot, and could be installed on hardware machines or virtual machines with less than 8 GB of RAM. So this is the safer alternative to editing the Windows registry, because when you edit the Windows registry, you might edit incorrectly, create a Windows registry data with the wrong name or with the wrong value. You cannot really copy paste text while the installer is running, so you'll need to dictate this thing to yourself while you're booting Windows 11. You do not have a web browser in here such that you can copy paste from the article, so you will need to type all of these characters correctly with the correct capitalization. Okay, and additionally, Rufus also has the opportunity of changing the partition scheme that's going to be used when installing Windows 11 from the default, which is a newer GPT, GUID partitioning, to the former one, which is MBR, master boot record, which will then allow you to install even if your computer does not have UEFI only BIOS. So we cannot, if we just edit a Windows registry, we're going to be the hardware machine or the virtual machine will need to provide UEFI, not only BIOS. Okay, so the download has completed. Let's open the virtualization software, which is called virt-manager. I'm on Kubuntu 2304, which is a Linux operating system. We go new, local ISO, forward. I need to select the ISO, which is from here, Windows 11 22H2 English. It automatically detected that's Windows 11. It knows that Windows 11 requires 8 gigabytes of RAM and 2 vCPUs. So it offered to use 4 virtual CPUs out of my 16 CPU threads. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM and it is trying to use the minimum, which is 8 gigabytes of RAM, random access memory. Okay, so let's beef this thing up. Make this 10. 8 gigabytes is okay. Forward. Create a disk image. Suggested 120 gigabytes. Let's go with 200. Forward. Windows 11. Customize before install. I have just one possible network. Finish. Says that virtual network is not active. It's going to start it for me. And then it has selected UEFI, which does not support secure boot as far as I know. So it did not suggest BIOS. This is the correct setting. Chipset, this is the motherboard, the newest one, which is Q35, great. In here, I always need to edit, so I have just one CPU, and I'm going to use 10 CPU cores. And it's going to use the same CPU inside of the virtual machine as the CPU on the host machine. Okay, the disk is SATA because this time we're not going to use the virt.io DVD disk ISO file. Okay, CD-ROM, we can see it prepared. Network interface card, the newest one that's supported by Windows out of the box, which is the Intel E1000. Windows 11 knows USB tablets. And that's it. And it says selected the TPM. Okay. So we are going to remove this TPM just to show how we can install without any TPM. So it seems that the newer versions of QEMU, in order to support Windows 11 correctly, come with a virtual emulated TPM. So let's remove this TPM. Yes. Okay, the rest are just defaults. And we say begin installation. Okay, so it's creating the virtual hard disk. Press any key to boot from DVD. It has captured my mouse. Now it has read my mouse. Okay, so let's see what it says. Defaults, English, United States, next. Install now. Okay, I don't have a product key. Windows 11 Pro, 64-bit. So we can, because it's a multi-edition Windows 11 ISO file, we can select the type of Windows 11 operating system that we want. So we always want Windows Pro. Next. And now, because we have removed from the virtual machine the virtual software TPM solution, it's complaining that this PC can't run Windows 11. And in here, we need to press Shift+F10. Okay. It opened the cmd.exe, which is the command prompt in Windows, NT and newer. And in here we go regedit. Okay. Okay, so let's see it. Computer HQ local machine. System setup. In here I need to create a registry key named LabConfig if it does not exist, and it does not exist. New key LabConfig. Be extra careful. Read everything twice. LabConfig. Okay. New. And in here we need to create virt-32-bit, so integer values. BypassCheck. This needs to be 1. I'm pressing the enter key to enter the editor. So enter key opens the editor. With escape you can close the editor. Okay. Right click somewhere in the free space. New virt bypass secure boot check 1. Right click, new BypassRAMCheck. Okay, we read everything twice. So BypassTPMCheck, this thing. Everything's regedit, so the value is data is 1. BypassSecureBootCheck 1. Bypass random access memory check 1. Okay, so it looks okay. We can close. What do we need to do next? It didn't say. Restart your PC and try running the Windows 11 installer. What do you mean? This is a live CD. If I restart the computer, I'm going to lose everything. exit registry editor, and the installation should continue without problems. How? Back row. Okay, so you need to go back. In the Windows setup wizard, press the back button in the title bar. Okay, so now we did not complain about TPM, and we are at the EULA wizard page. I say I accept the Microsoft terms. Next. Custom install only. It sees my SATA virtual hard disk, 200 gigabytes. I go next. And the installation is going to be successful. Okay, so let's go through the steps again. I have downloaded the official Windows 11 ISO from Microsoft. That's multi-edition. In there, I have created a virtual machine, or you can boot it on hardware. And I've started the Windows 11 installer wizard. There I have selected Windows 11 Pro. Then it complains that my virtual machine does not have TPM. I open registry editor by pressing the Shift+F10 key on my keyboard. So this Shift is a keyboard key, F10 is another keyboard key. It opens the command prompt. There I have started regedit. I go to this registry key. I create a new registry key named LabConfig. I've added three regedit registry values named BypassTPMCheck, BypassSecureBootCheck, BypassRAMCheck. All of these three should have the value 1, the data 1. And after I close regedit and cmd.exe, in the Windows setup installation wizard, I need to go back one page. So I'm pressing the back button in the title bar once. Okay. So this is just how to install Windows 11 without TPM. When installing Windows 11 on QEMU, we can do additional things, which is not using the default hardware. So not using a SATA disk, but a virt-IO disk. And also the network interface card, we can make it be virt-IO, which is a good thing because it will allow us to install Windows 11 without any network interface card, because Windows 11 installer does not have support for the virt-IO network interface card. So the Windows 11 installer will think that it's offline, so it will not offer me the option of logging into Windows with a Microsoft online account, which I never do. I never connect to Windows 10 or 11 using Microsoft accounts. I always create local Windows user accounts, and I use those. And in order to support virt.io disk, I need to mount inside of the virtual machine a second ISO, which is the one for virt. So when actually installing Windows 11, I have the virtual hard disk plus two ISO files mounted as DVD ROMs. One for this one, Windows 11 installer ISO, and the other one for the virt.io drivers. Okay. So this is it. Thank you.